What's up, guys? Ronin Man here. I wanted to give this message to men out there that life can get better as you get older. And it really is true for men. And I want to talk about my own experience. When I was younger, I don't know about you, but I had a kind of a intrepidation or worry that I could face the challenges of life. You know, I would watch my dad work, and go to work and, support the family. We had 3 kids and it was expensive. And, I knew there was a lot of challenges, and I saw my parents fighting, and I saw my neighbors failing or succeeding. And I saw people in situations that I thought to myself, I wondered, could I face that? Was I, I never thought, it wasn't even like, could I face that? I honestly felt as an 18-year-old or whatever, I thought I can't face that. I thought, man, there's no way, I would look at other guys who went through stuff and I'd be like, whoa, like that guy, whoa, I'd be like, almost like shaking my boots thinking, I can't do that. How could I, I'm not that guy. Like that guy's not me. Right. But as I've gotten older, and why life does get better, it gets so much better. But one of the reasons is that you realize you don't have to do everything in life. Like you don't have to do what every other man has done. It's not necessary. You have your own specific skills. You have your life. Your lifespan is in a certain period in the world and time. Mine was when the internet was invented, and I went through that phase of pre-internet, post-internet, and that was a beautiful transition for me. And I'm very much an internet guy. I love the internet. I can't imagine going back to no internet. Like, you know what I mean? It would be just unbelievably miserable for me to do that. I would do it. If it happened, there was a time machine. I was forced. I would get into physicality and things like that, and I would definitely have a good life. But I really appreciate the information that's available. And things like the MGTOW community would never exist if it wasn't for the internet. It would be totally impossible. There's no way that some major media outlet would allow a movement like this, a group of guys to get together and share this kind of stuff. It's just no way. Could never happen. Now that the internet's happened, it's going to form we're going to be such a big group that it will be unstoppable, and it will happen, right? Because once you've got the momentum and then the advertising dollars, then stuff happens, right? So once things get going, right, and the internet allows those things to kind of get going. So I just tell you, man, but back to like feeling good. Physically, I'm in the best shape of my life. And that is a great thing. And I've been through a lot of stuff recently. And one thing I do, and this is my little secret, whenever I have a challenge in my life, right? So whatever the challenge is, like say big challenge, I always double down and focus on working out. And I focus on eating well. And that has always been one of the most important things I've ever done for myself, literally, because it's in a time when most people go the opposite way, right? They start eating ice cream, they start really abusing their body and not taking care of themselves. They start smoking again. And it's easy to do because you're in so much pain when you're going through stuff, right? But it's the exact opposite thing you should do, because when you're in a lot of pain emotionally, when you're miserable, when things are really fucking hard for you, it's almost like you're in so much pain that it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, when you're so miserable and like things are so bad that you could stop smoking and it wouldn't even bother you. Like, you know what I mean? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And that's when you focus on your body, because it gives you something to put your energy into as a man. So eat better. Don't eat that shitty food. Make sure that you go to the gym and like when you're in the gym, you focus on the moment, right? Because you're out of the pain, right? You're just focusing on the gym. You're focusing on the weights. You're focusing on the feeling in your body and the balance in your body. And that actually gives you extra energy to work out. So it's actually a very good thing. It's a symbiotic thing. So when you're in pain, guys, when you're miserable, eat better, and every single thing you put in your body, think about every fucking thing. Don't put anything unthinking in your body, and then focus on new things and working out. And then what'll happen is you'll come out of inevitably. If you work on yourself, and you're on this channel, you're working on yourself, right? You're honestly looking at your own self and what you can do to make your life better, right? It's not like blaming everybody else's fault, right? You understand that other people can really seriously harm you, and that they're not often in your best interest, working in your best interest. and he even could be sabotaging you, and even could be Schadenfreude, like the German word, I don't know if I said it right, but basically enjoying your misery. There's other people who will do that kind of stuff, but at the same time, you have responsibility, and there's things that you can do, and the things that you can change, and things that you can see that will allow you to change and get out of the situation. Totally get out of it. So that is what keeps you moving forward, right? So, okay, so back to like the fucking best feeling. I tell you, so see, what happens is you come out of it like like Clark Kent goes into the, he goes into the phone booth, right? He comes out Superman. That's what happens to you when you go into your body and you go into taking better care of your physical self while you're going through a difficult thing, whether it's a new career you're working on. I remember when I started headhunting, I was working from 8 in the morning and maybe 8:30 in the morning until like 3 at night. But I still would I would go to the gym and I worked out extra hard. Like I would take a long lunch and I would go to the gym and I would just fucking destroy it at the gym. And what happened was, to get good at headhunting only took me about maybe 4 or 5 months. I was a natural at it. So I called, I worked my ass off. But meanwhile, I was focusing on my body. So when I came out of it, 4 or 5 months later, I was making like fucking $30,000 a month. And I was in the best shape I had been in, because I had taken all that frustration and anger and focused it all on working out. And so it was fucking amazing, because all the guys I worked with that were successful in headhunting, all of them got in worse shape. They were all like in terrible shape, and they were making tons of money, and it was like a big success. And they started companies, and some of these guys did really well. I got bored with headhunting, so I didn't keep doing it for that many years. I don't know how many years I did it, maybe 6. But some of the guys focused in, one guy I know, he actually bought a fucking island, ended up with about $100 million. So these guys focused on money only, whereas I focused on a combination of learning the career, learning all the things I needed to learn so I could suck everything valuable out of that awesome career, because headhunting was the most amazing opportunity for me, because I got to meet the top executives in Japan, every single one of them, pretty much. I met like 3,000 top executives, and I was able to interview them for an hour, talk to them, and find out what they did to succeed or fail. And that was like insanely valuable for me in my future careers after that. So I saw headhunting as like a stepping stone, and a lot of people saw it as an end result. So either way, but the thing is these guys now are all in terrible shape. Some of them are even dead. Like it's been years ago, right? And they just totally focused on work all the time, and they became very overweight and not good. Like a lot of them didn't work on themselves, and they made some really bad decisions in their personal life. I know one guy in particular. He stole all the database from his company, started his own company. He was full of pride and everything, and he wasn't seeing himself. And this guy was an awesome headhunter. I mean, this guy was like fucking insanely good, but he didn't have the balance in life. He didn't understand I think he didn't have the values he needed to succeed. So what he did is he took this massive database from a big company in Japan, and then he started his own company. At first was very successful, but in the end it ended up totally failing, and he lost all his money. And now he's working at somebody else's company. So he was making well over $1 million a year. I think he was making as much as $3 million a year actually at his peak in 1999 or something like that, when the internet bubble was going on. And now he's working for basically, I don't know what he's making, but I'm sure it's not that great, because headhunting is not the same career it was back then. It was a hot time in Japan, right? So the thing is guys, you need a balance to succeed. And this is why life gets better when you get older, because you have if you keep your physical self healthy, you still have the physical self, right? I'm in the best shape of my life, so I still have that. I'm in better shape than when I was 21 years old. I can tell you that for a fact. For a freaking fact, I'm in better shape than when I was in university, 100%. And that also gives me an insane confidence, because physically, we are physical beings, man. In the end, fuck this hand job spirituality. We are physical beings. Your mind is a physical part of your body. If you eat shitty food, your mind is going to be not as good. If you're fat, your mind is you're gonna lose intelligence. You will lose points off your intelligence. Your physical body is what feeds your mind, and the blood that goes around your body is a big part of your intelligence and your ability to overcome things in your life, overcome challenges. And so you got to keep yourself physically in shape. You have to reach that. If you're not in good physical shape, you're on the right fucking channel, man. Because I'm telling you, this is not a physical channel. It's not like a workout channel. But I'm telling you, I can help you to get in that kind of shape you want to be in, because this is the foundation for your life. It's like a house, right? You have a house, they say built on the stone or built on the sand. You build your house on the stone when you have a body that's in shape and healthy. Physically, mentally, every single aspect. It's just an absolute necessity. Like, you're fucking crazy if you don't think your body's important. Like, literally, you're out of your fucking mind if you think money's more important. I have so many friends who had so much money and they ignored their physical body, and it wasn't good, man. It wasn't good. I have a couple friends who pulled it off. You know, they were never focused on their body, and as they got older, they somehow survived. They had very good genes. You know, that can happen. You know, it's like the woman who smokes and drinks whiskey and she's 105 years old. It can happen, but don't bet your life on the odds that you are the exception in life. Always bet your odds on that you are probably closer to the middle. That's the much better odd, right? And when you do that, when you do that, you create the structure that allows you to grow, and that growth is what allows you to be happier as you get older. Because I can face the challenges in life now. You know, I'm not afraid of them like I was when I was younger. I'm not afraid of the fucking challenges, man. It's like, bring it on, man. If some other man can do it, like, bring it fucking on. Like, I don't care. I mean, I love it. I love challenges at this point. And you know, I didn't always love challenges. Trust me. Challenges were scary, you know, and it was because I was insecure. I wasn't sure if I could handle it. And that was for good reason. The reason why I didn't know if I could handle it is because I had not handled it, okay? You need to go through stuff to get that confidence so that you know whether you can do it or not. When you've done something, it's much easier because you already know you can do it. So for example, when I studied Chinese, I was completely different than the other students in the class. I think, this is my theory, but I really believe that most people in my class were not sure if they could ever get fluent in Chinese because it's a difficult language and a lot of people study for 10 years and they never get it. And so people naturally are like, I wonder if I can, I wonder if I'm going to be capable of doing this, right? Now for myself, the reason why I had total confidence, even though it was really difficult and I did doubt parts of it, was because I was already fluent in Japanese. And when I was studying Japanese, I didn't know that I could do it. I didn't know. When I studied Japanese, I had no confidence at all. I didn't have any confidence. I thought, well, I'm just going to do this. You know, I had some girl who wanted to pay for my school. She was rich, a sugar mama. And she's like, you should go to school. And I'm like, I don't have the money. She's like, I'll pay. And I'm like, okay. And I went to school. But that was it. I was like, I'll go to school because she's paying. And it's expensive school. And let's see what we can learn and blah, blah, blah. But what happened was, 5-10 years later, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm fluent in Japanese. Like I'm actually can speak Japanese. And I was like, holy shit, I never thought, you know, I was not raised to be confident, guys. My family was not confident. In fact, they looked down on confidence. In Finnish culture, my family's from Finland, the Finnish culture, it's like, if you have too much confidence, you're almost like a bad seed. Like you're not Finnish. I swear to God, conservative Finnish culture is definitely like that. And I was always kind of in that sense, I was a black sheep because I grew up in California mostly. And I just had a little more positive, optimistic outlook than they did. And I don't want to put down Finnish. Finnish culture is awesome. I really, Finnish people were very honest and hardworking, and there's a lot of good aspects to Finnish culture that I really like. But one of the bad ones for me was this kind of sense of, if you stand up, it's no good. You know what I mean? Don't stand up. Don't be confident that you can do it. Don't be too big for your britches. I often heard that when I was a kid, right? And so but now, then when I learned, back to the Chinese, so when I went to Chinese class, I was like, hey man, I don't know, man. I don't know how hard this is going to be, because I was kind of surprised at how hard learning Chinese was. I didn't realize it was going to be that hard. You know, I was almost in hell for like a year. Like literally I was almost in hell. But I knew, it wasn't like a theory. I knew without a doubt, okay, because of my experience, this is why I'm happier now. This is a key story. I knew that I could learn a difficult Asian language fluently and that most people couldn't. Okay, I had this confidence because I already did it. And it wasn't bullshit. Like I already did it. I knew it. And even though I didn't even have confidence in myself the first time, I did it. So I'm like, wait a second, I must have some kind of like skill in this, or I have some special method of learning, or maybe it's not that hard, maybe these other people are lazy. I don't know what the fucking reason is, but I know that me, fucking Ronin man, RM, is gonna be fluent in Chinese at some point. Just keep plowing through, keep trying, keep, miserably, plowing through these MP3s and plowing through these dialogues, and somehow your brain is gonna put it together. Just like you put together riding a bicycle or something, it's gonna somehow, your brain is gonna make sense out of this whole fucking thing. And so I'm like, okay, and that's what happened. I was fluent in Chinese, and I think that belief in myself, and the reason why, now again, belief in yourself, I don't think belief is good, because belief is when you don't, it's bullshit basically, right? You're believing in something that's not real. Now, this was different because I knew I could be fluent in Chinese. I knew I would be, actually. It wasn't even like I could be. I knew I would be if I just grinded through these fucking dialogues, listened to the fucking MP3s, read the goddamn book, went to class, studied my ass off, watched Chinese TV all the fucking time. I used to watch Premier League because it was in Chinese. I'd watch soccer because it was interesting, I played soccer and I loved watching soccer. So that was one of the best things for me, watching fucking Premier League. And the other thing I watched, which was really funny, was the shopping channel. A friend of mine had a shopping channel in China, and I used to watch it in Chinese. And it was funny because that was one of the good things too, because they used to say numbers all the time. They'd be like 10,999 cents, and then they would say something really simple. They'd say, press this button and this shit flies out, And I would be like, oh, I get it. Press that button and that stuff flies out. Oh, I see, flies. Oh yeah, right. And I was able to, I used the shopping channel to learn numbers, because big numbers are not easy. Like, one of the things they used to do in World War II, when they would interrogate German spies, when they would catch somebody they thought was a German spy that spoke perfect English, how they caught him? Was numbers. They would say in English, because one of the most difficult things for people in second language is to be totally fluent in numbers, right up to 1 trillion. So you could multiply 1,000,000 times, or like 998,000 times, 3,767, and then say the number, and then, or both combination of mathematics and numbers, right? And the Germans, no matter how good they were at English, they could not do big numbers. They could not do it. They just weren't capable. They had to go into German when they did numbers. So that's how they caught spies, and obviously wasn't a good future for them. And so numbers are difficult, and I wanted to be totally fucking fluent in numbers. So I could be watching the TV. They're talking about the economy, $11 trillion economy. There was a gap in this, and there was a drop in that, and I wanted to be able to. When I say fluent, I wanted to be able to watch the business news. I wanted to be able to listen to a discussion. I didn't want to be handicapped Chinese speaker where I couldn't do large numbers. And that's what a lot of people secretly that are good at languages, that speak a language, actually are shitty at numbers. And I didn't want that to be me, because I knew that story of the German spies. I'm like, no fucking way. I want to be able to just like, bam, the big numbers. Watch the news, the trillions, the billions, the quadrillions. I could just like, oh yeah, I know what that is, boom, 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 boom. And also it's more complicated because you have renminbi and you have dollars and all that, right? So the numbers get really big because the renminbi is not the one-on-one with the dollar, right? So, or the Japanese yen, different currencies, right? So I needed really big numbers. So, but the TV shopping channels allowed me to do that. So it's these things that give you confidence, guys. It's this facing of reality. It's this fucking plowing through the difficult goddamn things in life that give you a confidence, not a belief like some bullshit fucking chick sitting around with her fucking crystals thinking, oh, like I'm gonna get this fucking vision board. No, man. No, it's like you're out there grinding it out, digging the fucking mine, and you're doing the hard work. And you know that if you just don't give up, that good things are going to happen. You just keep going. You just keep going. You don't have any belief in yourself. You just grind it out. And then when you're done, you have a goddamn gem on your hands, because now you know something about yourself. You know that you have the discipline to stick with it, and you know that if you stick with it, you're going to get this. Okay, and that is fucking gold, man. That is gold. This is where confidence comes from. Confidence comes from reality, right? It comes from shit that you did, that you know, okay? That's where real confidence comes from. The reason why I'm confident in fights is because I pretty much won every fight I've been in. I don't know how I do it. I have no fucking idea. But I'm confident in fucking fights because I always win. I don't know how I do it. I have no idea. It happens so fast. I don't know what the fuck's going on. You know, I don't have any training, but I that's why I have insane confidence fighting, is because I always win. You know, I literally don't even know what I do. It just happens so fast. I wish I had a videotape actually, but I don't want to get in fights. I'm not into fights. Violence is not good, but if somebody challenges me, if somebody tries to rob me, I'm going to fucking kick the shit out of them, 100%. And I'm going to enjoy it too. That's why I fight. I fight when someone attacks me. Someone fucking attacks me, I fucking destroy the fuck out of them. And that's the way I do it. So if no one attacks me, I'm fine. There's no anger in me. But when someone fucking does something wrong to me, it pisses me off. And I think that's not fair. I don't want somebody to rob me. I don't give a fuck if they have a knife or a gun or whatever. I'm just like, fuck this guy. This fucking guy's gonna steal my shit, and I'm gonna steal his shit. Fuck this asshole, you know? And I'll just fucking go into like whatever mode I go into, right? So I know that from my experience, and I also know, and I am realistic, that I know that I could have bad luck. Bad luck could happen. Bad luck means I would die. So, you know, I do have this realistic idea in my mind, and knowing the limits, right? I have a lot of limits. I have a physical body. If someone hit me in the windpipe at a certain level of pressure, it would cause my windpipe to collapse, and I would not be able to breathe, and I would probably die, right? I realize that I have weak points on my body, and I don't want to fight. And I can get into this because it really was a big thing when I was younger, but actually now at 53, it's not a big deal. I don't want to fight. I have no interest. But when I was younger, I really like had a lot of, I had a testosterone like fucking crazy. That story I just told you is kind of an old story. It's like my growing up. I had a fucking, you know what it was? My dad used to kick the living shit out of me when I was a kid. Like, he'd come home drunk. He'd had 2-week blackouts, and my dad would kick the fucking shit out of me when I was 13 or 14. And it fucking sucked, okay? And I wanted to get revenge on the fucking world. And that's why I became a good fighter, and I was very good at taking a punch, because I got the shit kicked out of me for no fucking reason, you know, when I got home from school. And that fucking sucked. It fucking sucked. But it made me obviously not scared of fighting, but I want to let that go now. This is actually a good discussion for me. I really want to let the fighting thing go. I don't care. I have no more anger. That stuff that happened to me when I was a kid is over. And part of it is over because of what I've been through recently. I've seen a lot of, I've gone deep into myself in the last couple of months, very deep. And it's gone straight back to my dad, straight back to my father, and the way I was raised, and the things I went through when I was a kid. A lot of it goes back to that. And I've dealt with it. And I still have like these, you can see, right, as you listen to my voice, you can hear, I still have these moments where I kind of like flashback, you know. I'm still like that, but I'm not. Actually, I'm over that. But it's part of me. It's gonna come, it's always gonna bubble up to the surface. It was a big part of my life for so long. I don't know when it'll be gone. Maybe next year, maybe never, who knows. But it was a big part of me, right? So this is how you get confidence, man. It's like you live your life, you go through the challenges. And I just wanted to quickly show you guys, a lot of guys, I think, you know, like on the internet, right? There's so many people that basically are full of shit, right? You know what I mean? Like, they're basically lying, right? A lot of people don't have integrity, and they will tell you things that are not even true. They'll just say, oh, you know, I do this, or I do that, or, you know, whatever the fuck they do, and it's not true. They're not capable of doing whatever it is they're saying, and they are exaggerating how they live their life. So I just want to show you guys here in the bathroom here, and let's see here. So I want to show you guys that this is my body at age 53, And that's me. I'm not, flexing up or anything. Just that's me. That's my body. And my legs are in good shape. I feel fucking great. I'm going to yoga later on today. It's gonna be fucking awesome. My body fat percentage is very low. A lot of you guys are gonna be at the convention, and that's gonna be fucking awesome. We can all get together and share ideas, and help each other to keep improving our lives as men, right? So keep improving yourself, keep going forward, learn from other men, see your own faults, right? Learn how to have an open mind and try to do new things. Try to see a new way. Don't always go back into the same mode, right? And that's what learning is. And that's probably why you're listening to this podcast. You're probably like, fuck, my old way didn't work. I want to do a new way, right? I want to learn from new people, right? And my friends around me are not giving me that, right? That's why I go to the internet. That's the very reason I go to the internet, is because the amount of guys out there are just fucking amazing, The amount of knowledge they have and experience that I don't have, right? And I can learn from them. They're freely giving it away, right? And I can learn from that, and I can improve my life. And that is a beautiful thing, beautiful fucking thing. So guys, life can get better as you get older. I swear to God, it happened to me. My life is so peaceful today. I didn't even talk about inner peace, but I have an inner peace I never had. And this is even more important than confidence. I have an inner peace, man. I have a peace because I know that I always do my best. I do. I always do my best. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know the way to do something, and I make a mistake, and you know what I mean? And I hurt people or hurt myself, right? That happens, right? Definitely. But in the end, I'm always trying my best. Every single day, I'm always trying my best. So when, just simple things like yoga today, when I go to yoga class today and the teacher, I listen to him, and when he says, do this or do that, move your arms like this, whatever, I listen to him, because every single time I get in there, I listen to, okay, you're supposed to lift up your back, but don't breathe out, breathe in, right? And I do it, right? Because every day I'm trying my best, right? And that's what you want to do. That's all you can do. And if you do that every fucking day, you're going to have an amazing life. You will have a fucking amazing life. And you will pass by your old self, take the good things from it, right? Take the fucking things that you know what I mean? Like the stuff that matters and the shit that's really you grab that, right? And then you fucking just, boom, you open yourself up to the new life and a new way of handling things, emotions. And it's scary because you almost become a different person, right? Some of your old friends won't even want to be around you for whatever reason, right? They might see you as I don't know, they might not want to be around you, right? That's okay. That's okay. Your journey is your journey, right? And you're going to go through people, you're going to go through countries, you're going to go through careers, and you're going to continue on and not afraid of that next phase, because that's what a lot of guys are afraid of, that phase. That's why they don't reach that phase, because they're like, if I go there, what the fuck's going to happen to me, right? You know what I mean? Like, who am I, right? And they're afraid. Don't be afraid, guys. I'm telling you now, it's me to you. If this helps you at all, don't be afraid. Life gets better. Life really, truly gets better as you age if you do the right things. And I'm not kidding. This is not bullshit. This is absolutely serious. My life is better than it's ever been. Ever been. I see myself. I know my friends are real. You know what I mean? I challenge myself. I see my weaknesses, and I understand where I'm weak, and I learn how to go deep into that and minimize those problems and fix those things and see myself. Because the big difference is you might have a weakness and you don't see it. And then the other thing is when you have a weakness but you actually see it, then it's different, because you're like, fuck, I see my weakness, and I can see myself kind of going into it in the middle and in the end, right? You're like, I see where I'm going, right? And that gives you that knowledge. The knowledge of what you're doing is gold, man. It's fucking gold. It's fucking gold. Before, you didn't know. Everything was just like, you didn't have any idea your weakness, right? You didn't know you're into it. Now, after self-help and after learning and growing, and you're like, fuck, I see what I'm doing. I see myself going into this phase. So you might be like, you might forgive yourself and say, okay, I'm going to do it again, but I see it. And that knowledge of yourself is what allows you to finally at some phase to say, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't want to be this person anymore. I want to do this and I want to reach that new person, right? And that's the fucking gold, right? It's not like beating yourself up. It's not like happen in 5 minutes. It's like slowly realizing what other people are, what the world is, who you are, what your weaknesses are, you know, because you have weaknesses, you have pride, you have all kinds of things. You have envy, you have anger, you have all kinds of issues that you want to deal with and you want to get better at. And those things can be turned into good things if you know that life can get better. If you don't know that life can get better, you're often going to be afraid of changing because you're like, fuck, if I change, I'm going to disappear, right? Who the fuck am I going to become? I'm telling you now, if you need somebody to tell you that life gets better. And I personally, I grew up surfing, right? And I was not a great surfer. It was one of my great shames in life. I was not a great surfer. But as I've gotten younger, as I've gotten older, sorry, I feel like I'm younger. As I've gotten older, I've gotten in better shape, the yoga and everything. And my goal now, one of my goals is to become a great surfer at 60. So another 7 years from now. Right now, I'm living in Bangkok. There's no surf. But by 60, I want to live in a place where there's really killer surf. And I want to be in better shape than now. I want to be like a fucking spider, man. Like a spider. No fat at all. Like just muscle. Bing! Just jump up on the fucking board. Bam! Bam! Do those fucking cutbacks, right? That's what I want to do. That's my goal. That's my goal now. Is to be the best surfer I've ever been when I'm 60 years old. That's my fucking goal. That's a beautiful fucking thing, right? So, you know, for me, that's one of my goals. And it's like, for me, it's cool, right? It's very cool. All right, guys. So Ronin Man signing off. I hope you guys have a good day. If you're coming to the convention, hit me up and we can go out and grab some food before the convention. That'd be fucking great. Totally into that. And just let me know how you're doing. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. And thanks for everything, guys. I appreciate everything you guys do for me, too. So, all right. Have a good one.